It's been 6 months since Ohio's medical marijuana program officially started. It was supposed to be fully operational on September 8th, but because of problems with permits, weather, and construction, the first medical marijuana wasn't available anywhere in Ohio until mid-January. Statehouse correspondent Joe Ingles reports on where the program stands now.
On a cold morning in late March, people lined up outside the first medical marijuana dispensary to open in central Ohio. Terrasana plans 4 locations and chose Columbus for its first one. And Columbus resident Michael Doctor was there.
I've had 2 back surgeries and my spine is full of arthritis.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it helps.
Helps tremendously.
Doctor knows that because he's already purchased medical marijuana in Ohio in Wintersville, 3 hours away from his home. That was one of the first dispensaries to open in Ohio in mid-January.
Since that time, we've gone from 4 dispensaries that were open in a pretty select part of the state and only a handful of cultivators that had product in the marketplace to today when there are 13 dispensaries that are operational, 11 cultivators that are selling product in the market. And we're really seeing it grow slowly but steadily.
Apex Supercritical near Columbus has been making extraction equipment that marijuana processors all over the country have been using in recent years. The factory here stands to benefit from the growth of Ohio's medical marijuana program as more processors begin to come online.
One of our biggest challenges as Apex Supercritical has always been we've never been able to extract oils from marijuana, which is what most of our customers are using it for, in a capacity that would allow us to really enhance our innovation engine, right? Keep the innovation, keep the research and development going. We've never had that opportunity to be able to do that here in Ohio. We've always had to go to other customers' facilities and customers' locations. And that presents a ton of challenges, from just logistical challenges, let alone accuracy and time and things like that.
That's about to change. Joseph is what's known as a vertical license holder. He is in the process of getting licenses to cultivate, process, and dispense medical marijuana from the state. He hopes to get an operational license for processing at the end of June. He expects the cultivation license will come to fruition in September. If that seems backwards, it is.
I don't know that anybody could have really done anything about it, but the way the licenses got issued, the cultivation licenses were issued in late fall of 2017, which means that anybody who's got to build out a facility, which most of the larger ones, they had to because the facilities are so specific, they're engaging in a build out in Ohio winter, which is a very, very challenging environment. Processing licenses repeated the same thing. They came out late fall and presented a situation where anybody who's in a construction scenario basically has to do construction through winter.
And the wait was compounded by the fact Joseph had to appeal to get his operational license for cultivating, causing another delay. But right now, the processors are arguably the most needed in Ohio's medical marijuana program. Medical marijuana cannot be smoked in Ohio. For the past couple of months, stores have only been able to sell raw marijuana that must be used with vaporizers. And that has limited appeal for patients because many of them want to consume the product in different forms.
But now that we have 2 processors who are operational, we're starting to see the first manufactured product that's getting into the dispensary. So for about a week and a half, we've had tinctures that were available to patients in a few of the dispensaries. The next product that we expect to see are oils that can be consumed by patients. And not long after that, we'll start to see edibles, topical lotions, things like that will be on the market.
Right now, there are 39 processing companies that could be awarded licenses to operate, yet there are only 2 that are certified to operate right now. There are 29 companies that could be licensed to cultivate marijuana, yet only 17 now have the license to operate, and only 11 of those are actually operating. Out of 56 dispensaries that could be licensed to operate, only 13 actually have. And there are more than 24,000 Ohioans who have received recommendations for medical marijuana from doctors, yet less than half have actually purchased the product. So why aren't more patients getting the product, and why is it taking so long for cultivators, processors, and dispensaries to get up and running? One reason is the projects involved are expensive, and because marijuana is still illegal on a federal level, funding is an issue.
There really isn't traditional access to lines of credit and investment money and loans from traditional banks. So you end up going to private equity or investment groups. It just makes it more expensive.
And he says the process can be complicated for businesses, especially since Ohio's program is operated differently than most other states.
One of the things Ohio did that really no other state has done is separate the program into two different groups. Generally, the program's overseen by one specific group, whether it's the alcohol and tobacco or whether it's an agricultural department. Ohio decided to break it up under two different departments, and there are definitely some challenges that come from that, in that the two departments don't necessarily work the same way.
And he says sometimes that can be confusing for operators, leading to more expensive construction and ultimately more expensive products. The owner of the Columbus dispensary agrees Ohio's approach is much more controlled and doesn't compare with other states that have medical marijuana programs.
It's not an easy road. You have to have a lot of patience and have a very keen understanding of the complexities of the law as it has been written.
Ohio's program is different by design.
It's a difficult industry to stand up, and remember that in the state of Ohio, this is an industry that is created from scratch, and so setting up the appropriate regulations around it, finding the licensees who are going to operate the market. It's a challenging industry, and it takes time to set up. Obviously, from a patient perspective who have been waiting for these products, they would like to see things move more quickly. Certainly has been a sense of urgency on the state's part, and I can tell you on the part of the licensees to become operational. But at the end of the day, remember, our job is to make sure that the industry, once it is operational, is operating in a way that's safe, that protects public health, protects patient safety, and that takes time to do it the right way.
Patients who are now getting the marijuana say they're paying anywhere from about $35 to $60 for 1 day's supply, and it isn't covered by insurance like traditional medicines.
It doesn't bother me. I mean, the price is what it is.
Doctor says he stays away from pain pills he could get from his physician because those are addictive. Tom Turflinger, who suffers from irretractable lower back pain, agrees. He's successfully used medical marijuana in other states and looks forward to doing the same here.
Yes, it's absolutely worked. 2 times in a row, two doses in the evening, and I had no back pain for 3 to 4 days. If I go to my local family doctor, he wants to prescribe me a codeine or a morphine or something that 1 in 3 people become addicted to in their life.
Turflinger says he's been using alcohol as a way to control his back pain, but he says he's glad he doesn't have to do that anymore.
Cannabis is like the new wine,
Joe Ingles, Statehouse News Bureau.